Welcome everybody to Cooking with Carolina Nephrology. I'm Dr. Blake Shusterman, and today we're going to be making some Asian food, some Vietnamese food. We're going to be doing it at home, a lot of fresh vegetables, a lot of yummy flavors. This is going to be your alternative to going out to dinner for Asian food. If you go out for Chinese food, you're almost guaranteed to get a high level of sodium in there. If you go out for Vietnamese food, sometimes you can do a little better as far as health goes, but the temptation often is there where you end up choosing something on the menu that doesn't quite fit in with your health needs. And if you're doing it at home, this is the way to do it. This is a recipe called lemongrass chicken from a cookbook called the Vietnamese Home Cooking Cookbook, and we've adapted it a little bit so it is healthier for you and has a little more vegetables than the recipe that they use. Okay, so here we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the little bit of the sauce base for our stir fry, and what we're going to use is fish sauce. And if you've never used fish sauce before, it is delicious, but it is very high in sodium. Actually, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce has about 1,400 milligrams of sodium in there. And so this recipe initially called for 2 tablespoons, and I've cut that down more than a half. So we're using less than 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, but we're going to go ahead and mix that. We're going to mix our fish sauce with 2 teaspoons of chicken stock. This is low sodium chicken stock. And then we're going to put a pinch of sugar in there and whisk it together. This is going to go in near the end of our dish. Okay, now let's talk about all the ingredients we're going to put in this stir fry. We got a lot of fresh vegetables and taste. Our base for the stir fry is going to be chicken. I've got cubed chicken. This is half thigh and half breast meat. We've got some broccolini. I added this because I love broccolini. You could also use broccoli. And what I've done is I've boiled it for about 30 seconds before we're going to put it in the stir fry. That way it cooks a little better than if you just put it in raw. I've got some yellow pepper here, which is a very kidney-friendly vegetable and adds great color and flavor to the dish. I've got about a cup of thinly sliced red onion. That's really going to give the dish a lot of punch. I've got a couple teaspoons of fresh garlic. I've got about 1 jalapeno that's been washed and sliced on the diagonal. A couple of scallions chopped up, that's going to go on at the end. Okay, and our last ingredient is lemongrass, and lemongrass is a traditional Vietnamese ingredient which really is going to make the dish taste very fresh and flavorful, and it's got to be chopped up in a specific way. And so we're going to do that, and I'll show you how it's done before we cook it. Okay, so what we're going to do to the lemongrass is we're going to cut off the edge here at least a couple inches. You ought to have a sharp knife. Okay, and then we're going to turn it around and cut off the woody edges on the other side. Then what you can do is you can slice it. Try not to slice your fingers. And kind of peel off the outside layers so you get down to the thin inside. If you don't do this, then it tastes really hard in your dish. Now once you've got it like this, you're going to take it and slice it into little coins. Okay, and then once you've got it sliced in little coins, you're just going to do traditional kind of chopping to get it into small pieces. Okay, well let's get cooking. The key to a good stir fry is to have your pan hot and all your ingredients ready. And we're going to use just a regular saute pan instead of a wok, because I don't have a wok, but if you had a wok, I'm sure it would be delicious. So we're going to start with canola oil. We're just going to use a couple capfuls of canola oil in here. Again, on a real hot pot. We're going to put chicken in first. This is about a cup of chicken. We're going to let our chicken cook and brown for about a minute or 2 on each side. Once your chicken gets a little bit of brown, we're going to add our red onion. We're going to put our red onion in and turn the heat down just to about medium high. All right, we're going to let those onions soften for a minute, and then we're going to add our yellow pepper. Okay, now we're going to let our yellow pepper and red onion cook for a couple minutes while they soften together. To that yellow onion, we're going to add our broccolini. Now this broccolini is mostly already cooked, so it really just needs to kind of get hot in the pan. So we're going to let that Cook for just about 30 seconds. Okay, once that broccolini and everything starts to heat up, we're going to add our garlic, our lemongrass, and our jalapeno. Okay, after that we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of rice wine, a little bit of sweetness and get any bits off the bottom. Okay, and then lastly we add our fish sauce mixture, our scallions, and some little roasted Thai red chili paste. Stir that up really well together and let that cook for a minute or two while the chicken cooks through it. We're going to pour it over some short grain brown rice, and we're using brown rice instead of white rice because if you're diabetic, that white rice will have a tendency to drive your sugar up much higher and more quickly than the brown rice will. Okay, and we're going to top it with just a little bit of crushed peanuts, and you've got yourself a killer lemongrass chicken dish. Fantastic. And if you could be right here, you could smell how good it smells, and I want to eat it up right now. Thank you so much for joining us today with Cooking with Carolina Nephrology. I hope you use this recipe and it substitutes your General Tso's chicken or whatever you normally get when you go to that Chinese restaurant. If you want to see this recipe and all our other recipes, you go to carolinanephrology.com/cooking. We also have a YouTube channel and you can follow us on Facebook. See you next time.